Welcome to MTB Yoga Stretch and Release with Soul Connection. We're going to start in a kneeling position today. Toes tucked under if that feels better for you. Bring the eyes down to a close. Breathing in and breathing out here. Bring the right hand onto the top of the head, fingertips just above the left ear, and draw the head down using the strength, the weight of the arm. Stretch the left arm away from you, reaching into fingertips. Inhale, release. Bring the hands back onto the thighs. Bring the left hand onto the top of the head, just above the right ear, using the weight of the arm to draw the head down towards the left shoulder. Steady breath in and steady breath out. Inhale, release. Untuck the toes if they were tucked and tap through the tops of the feet. It's a good start for the class, huh? Bring the hands back to the hips and then press the hips up towards the ceiling. If you need a little bit more height, tip toes or tip fingers. Oh, I've got all the good words this morning. And then tuck the tailbone under, open the chest. As you exhale, press the hands down, release the glutes to the heels. Inhale, press up, lift up. Exhale, come down. So you're really trying to tuck the tailbone under each time you release in order to stretch the quadriceps. Bring the hands forwards, we're coming into tabletop position. Tuck the toes under, knees under hips, wrist creases under shoulders. Bring the right hand to the back of the right head. As you inhale, open the armpit to the sky, the ceiling, looking up past the top elbow. Exhale, the elbow comes down, taps the opposite elbow or wrist. Inhale, repeat. As you twist, keep the hips level. Let that twist come from the thoracic spine, the middle of the back. This next exhale will be your last. You're going to come over onto the left side. Left hand comes to the back of the head. As you inhale, open the armpit, look up. And as you exhale, tap opposite elbow, opposite wrist. You're really focusing on the torso, staying still from the middle of the back down. Letting that twist come from just below the shoulder blades up through the upper body. This exhale is our last. Come back to tabletop position. Walk your hands back towards you. We're going to come into yogi squat. I'm going to use my towel here to stack underneath my heels. I want your heels to be able to release so that this becomes a stretch and not a strengthening exercise. Reach your arms out in front of you. You're going to internally rotate the fingers towards each other. Keep the palms flat to the floor. And then exhale. Move the fingers, the thumbs away from each other. So the arms stay still. It's just the wrists, the hands that are moving. Each time you inhale, inwardly rotate. Exhale, that external rotation. This next inhale will be our last. We're going to pause here. Wrap the fingers to the palms, thumbs on top, knuckles to the floor. Circling the knuckles in towards each other, nice and slowly. And then round the other direction. Pausing there. Bring your hands into stop signs. Press firmly through the heel of the hand. Spread the fingers and thumbs wide. For 3, 2, 1. Take the arms out to the sides, wrist in line with shoulders. Press into heel of hands. Look forwards for 3, 2, 1. And release. Coming back down into a kneeling position. Using support under the knees if you need to. To bring our hands into prayer position at the chest and step our right foot forwards. Knee over ankle. Bring the hands down to the floor. We're going to come into a flow for the hamstrings here. As you take your next exhale, rock the hips back, come up onto the heel of that front foot. Press through the ball of the foot. Inhale, slide forwards, knee shoots past the ankle. Chest lifts. Exhale, rock the hips back, keep the hips level. Toes rise if you can. Exhale, come forwards. Chest lifts. 3 more, working with the length of your breath. You might find that you can access the stretch a little more deeply as the body gets familiar with the movement. Yeah, this time come forwards, knee stacks over ankle. Left hand stays on the floor. Right arm reaches up to the ceiling, wrist stacking over shoulder. Turn your ribs up towards that top hand. Stay here or inhale, raise the back knee, lengthen through the back heel. Soften the top shoulder away from the ear. Exhale, release the knee down, release the hands down. Bring 2 knees back, side by side. This time we're going to step the left foot forwards. Exhale, rock the hips back. Raising the front toes. So you want to keep the chest reaching forwards to access the stretch through the hamstrings. Inhale, come forwards, lift the chest, knee shoots past the ankle. Squeeze the back glutes here. Exhale, rocking back. Exhale, rock back, lift those toes, square the hips to the short edge of the mat. Inhale, come forwards, knee over ankle. Right hand stays on the floor, left hand reaches to the ceiling. Can you make this twist come from the upper ribs? Draw the top pec up towards the fingertips. Inhale, raise the back knee. And then send that back heel away from you. Little micro movement of left thigh crease to the back of the mat. Exhale, 2 hands to the floor. Step it back, downward facing dog. Bring the feet as wide as your mat. On your next exhale, rock your weight over to the left side. Pressing left heel down towards the mat. Inhale to center. Exhale, rock over to the right. So each time you rock, you're working to get that heel down to the mat. Lengthening into the Achilles, the heel, calves and hamstrings, backs of thighs. Last one on the right side here. And bring your knees all the way back down onto the mat. Toes tucked under here. Interlace all fingers and thumbs as you inhale. Send the heel of the hands up. Rise up into a high kneel. Press the hips forwards. Lift the ribs. Exhale. Knuckles forwards. Wrists in line with shoulders. Slide the hips back. Come into a low kneel. I'm just going to repeat that flow. Inhale. Press forwards. Lift up. Squeeze glutes to protect the back. Exhale. Working here to mobilize the spine, helping to pump the spinal fluid Next exhale is our last. Coming up into that high kneeling position, arms reaching forwards. Cross your right bicep over your left, forearms follow, and maybe the hands join. Take an inhale here. Keep your hips facing forwards. As you exhale, tuck the tailbone under and twist to your left hip. Inhale, you come back to center. Exhale, you find the twist. Each time you twist, you're working to draw the opposing hip back to keep those hips level, facilitating that twist through thoracic spine. Inhale, come forwards, undo the arms and immediately swap to the opposite side. Press elbows forwards, lift fingertips up, draw tailbone under, exhale, twisting to right hip. Left hip stays rooted. It should feel a little bit like you were wringing out a wet rag, upper body to lower body. Next exhale's our last. Come back to center. Sweep the arms behind you, interlace all fingers and thumbs. We're going to come back into a low kneeling position. See if you can rock back onto the toes. So we're in a crouch. Draw the knuckles back and away, opening up through the ribs. Breathing here, playing with that balance. Exhale, release. I'm going to come all the way through to a seated position here, bringing both legs out in front of you. Legs outstretched in front of you. So the little bony prominence underneath your glutes are called ischiums. I want you to sit up tall on those points. Bring your hands to the back of the right thigh. Draw that leg in towards you. Take your left arm, reach it forwards and wrap it around that right knee. Inhale, sweep the right arm up, circle it back. As you inhale, sweep it up, circle and reach it forwards. Repeating that flow. Each time you inhale and come forwards, the wrist comes down to shoulder height. As you exhale and sweep it back, squeeze the shoulder blade down to the floor. Last time, inhale, come forwards, look forwards. Exhale, take it back. Squeeze the shoulder blade down. Inhale, come forwards. Pick up that right leg, bring the foot into the left hand, the knee into the right hand. Sit up tall, find the ischiums. Draw the leg up. You're going to rock that hip side to side. Noticing how that feels in the knee, the hamstrings, particularly behind the knee. Just avoiding anything that feels painful, but working into a good stretch here. Okay, we're going to bring that leg all the way over the opposite thigh and wrap that heel into the side of the hip. Sit tall, reach the left arm up. Turn the armpit in towards you, let the hand and the palm follow, and then drop the fingertips down the spine. Reach the right arm out behind you, fingertips up towards the nape of the neck. Now, if you can find the fingertips, great, but I want you to avoid the bind. So I want you to avoid pulling on the arms and simply use the work in the top elbow to lift up and the bottom elbow to lift back. Notice whether the ribs are lifting here and tuck them down. Neck stays open, gazing straight ahead for one last inhale. And exhale, release. You're going to bring that right foot into the left thigh and then sweep your left leg back so the heel is near your left glute. Inhale, raise the arms to the sky, the ceiling. Exhale, twist towards the right thigh, left hand to right thigh. Opposite hand reaches behind you, gently pushing the floor away. Breathe in, lift up, twist from the navel. then the ribs, the collarbones. As you exhale, nod the chin to chest, looking back over the shoulder. Breathing here. Inhale, reach the arms up, look forwards. Release the hands all the way down. Reach the left leg back out in front of you. Right foot, sole of foot stays inside the left leg. Inhale, raise the arms. We're going to fold here, tipping right from the hip point, folding forwards. We're not going to reach for the foot. We're going to bring the hands down on the mat. So we're using the strength of the hip flexors to draw the body down towards that thigh. And our aim here is to try and gradually creep the nose further and further down towards the ankle. For most of us riders, hamstrings get very, very tight. So your pose might be more here. And you'll see on my opposite side where I have a hamstring injury, it'll look more like this on my right side. Okay, walk the hands back in towards you. Good. Last little stretch here. We're going to bring the left shin parallel with the short edge of the mat. Sweep your right leg behind you and bring that thigh so that it runs parallel to your front calf. The back shin runs parallel to the long edge of the mat. So this is called 90-90 stretch. Turn your body towards your front knee. Let the hips follow. Walk your hands forwards. Now I want you to push the floor away as if you were trying to push the wrinkles out of a rug. And then draw the hands towards you and feel what happens in the hips there. So as you draw the hands towards you, you should feel an increase in that stretch in the front hip. If you still can't feel it, you can come a little lower, perhaps onto the forearms. Perhaps even lowering the body down towards the floor. We're breathing here. Inhale, walk the hands in towards you. Sweep both legs out in front of you. We're going to bring that through the opposite side. Draw your left leg in towards you. Heel coming in towards the sit bone. Right arm reaches ahead and wraps around the knee. Nice and light here. And then lift. Left arm reaching up. As you exhale, circle it back. Wrist in line with shoulder. Squeeze shoulder blade down. Inhale, the arm comes forwards, palm facing in, shoulder height. Exhale, you take it back. This next exhale is our last. Bring the arms forwards. Take the left hand to the knee, right hand to the foot. Sit up tall on the ischiums and rock that hip side to side. If you've got a little bit more flexibility in the hip, you could take your forearm underneath the calf. Try not to lose the spine. So you might feel that the spine starts to round, and if it does, come back to where you just were. Otherwise, you could be here, maybe take both hands underneath. It's the same pose. They all do the same job. Just depends how much mobility you have in that hip. Okay, exhale, we're going to roll that leg, that foot around to the side of the right thigh. Inhale, raise the right arm. Turn the armpit in towards you, let the palm follow. Fingertips drop down the spine. Sweep the left hand behind you. Turn the fingertips up towards the nape of the neck. Shrug that shoulder blade back. We're avoiding that grip. Instead, we're using the reach of the elbows up with the top, down and back with that left arm. Breathing here, soften the jaw. And exhale, release. Bring your left foot in towards the right thigh and then sweep the right leg behind you. So that right heel is just coming in towards the right hip. Inhale, raise the arms. Turn your body to face the left knee. Bring the right hand to the thigh. Sweep the left hand behind you. Gently press the floor away to help you facilitate that twist. Starts at the navel, works up through the ribs, the collarbones, as if you were walking around a spiral staircase. Looking over the back shoulder, exhale, nod the chin to chest. Breathe here. Inhale, look forwards, reach the arms up. Exhale, bring the arms down. Sweep that right leg back out in front of you, keeping the sole of the left foot inside the right thigh. On an inhale, we're going to raise the arms, turn the body towards the outstretched leg. Exhale, we're hinging from the hips, folding forwards. Keep flexing the foot, toes facing the ceiling, the sky, and then whatever you can manage here. Think about length. So it's easy to curl the body down in towards the groin. I want you to think about lengthening the collarbones forwards. And then let the head go. Soften the jaw. Inhale, walk the hands back towards you. Coming into our 90-90 stretch. So right shin parallel with the top of the mat. Back thigh parallel with the front calf. Lots of parallels. Back shin parallel with the long edge of the mat. You turn your body to the front knee. Walk the hands forwards. So you're trying to draw the right hip to the back left corner of the mat. Walk the arms forwards. Plant the hands down. Push the hands away. Notice the sensation in that right hip. And then draw the hands towards you. So for me, that increases the stretch. It may or may not for you. You've got the options to come down onto forearms. You've got the options to lower the body further. But our main focus here is to feel that stretch in the hip, glute medius, on that right leg. Inhale, walk the hands towards you. Sweep the legs out in front of you. Bring the feet onto the mat, hip width apart, reach the arms out and roll yourself down onto the mat. Final little flow here before we rest. Walk the feet until they feel or that they're just underneath the knees. Press the palms of the hands to the mat. Inhale, raise the hips to the sky, the ceiling, reach the arms overhead. Breathing here, press the hips up. Squeeze the glutes, opening the whole of the front of the body. Exhale, roll down through the spine. Bring the hands onto the belly, soles of the feet to touch. Taking the heels out and away from the groins, giving yourself plenty of space so the inner thighs can relax. And we close out our practice here, bringing ourselves to the awareness of the breath, lengthening the exhalation by at least 2 beats in relation to the length of the inhale. You can choose to stay here for as long as you like, or coming back to seated to finish your practice now. Bringing your hands to the outside of the thighs, drawing the knees up. Hug the knees in towards you, and then gently 2 or 3 rock and rolls up to seated. Cross the legs. Bring the palms to the chest. Namaste. Thank you so much for your practice.